The Sri Lankan Civil War commenced in 1983, giving rise to the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam (LTTE), led by Villupillai Prabhakaran. The LTTE aimed to establish a separate homeland in the northern and eastern provinces of Sri Lanka for the Tamil-speaking ethnic group and engaged in armed conflicts with the Sri Lankan military. This situation had repercussions in neighboring India, particularly in Tamil Nadu, where a significant Tamil population resides. India, concerned about potential foreign interference, especially from China or the United States, and the risk of a foreign military presence in the adjacent nation, decided to intervene both diplomatically and militarily. As a result, the Indo-Sri Lanka Accord, signed on July 29, 1987, between Indian Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi and Sri Lankan President J.R. Jayawardene, outlined provisions for increased provincial autonomy for Tamils and the withdrawal of Sri Lankan troops to their barracks. Additionally, the accord mandated that Tamil rebels, including the LTTE, surrender their arms to the Indian Peacekeeping Force (IPKF). Although the LTTE was not involved in the treaty negotiations, they agreed to disarm before the Indian Army. In the end of July 1987, the Indian Peacekeeping Force arrived in Sri Lanka. Despite initial optimism among the Tamil population in Sri Lanka welcoming the Indian Peacekeeping Force as liberators from Sri Lankan rule, suspicions arose over time. While the LTTE initially complied with the requirements to lay down their arms before the Indian Army, their leader, Prabhakaran, grew apprehensive about a prolonged military presence eroding the LTTE's influence and control. In response, they not only withdrew from disarmament efforts, but also initiated the killing of other Tamil fighters and leaders who had been cooperating with the Indian Army. Consequently, the Indian Army found itself directly confronting the Tamil Tigers in the island nation. The Tamil Tigers employed classic guerrilla warfare tactics in their conflict with the Indian Army. The Tamil Tigers skillfully blended into the local population, frequently launching ambushes on Indian soldiers patrolling the streets. The attackers remained indistinguishable within the crowd, making it challenging for the Indian forces to effectively respond. The firearms and possessions of the Indian Army proved inadequate for urban guerrilla warfare. The FNL rifles commonly used by the Indian Army during that period were ill-suited for close quarters combat, while the Sterling submachine gun utilized by the Indians excelled in room-clearing operations. It fell short when compared to the firepower of the AK-47 and the American-made M16 rifles employed by the Tamil Tigers. At the outset of October 1987, the Indian Army officially initiated its operation to suppress the Tamil Tigers. Designated as Operation Pavan, Hindi for wind, its primary aim was to neutralize the operational capabilities of the LTTE in and around Jaffna. This entailed capturing or neutralizing the LTTE's chain of command, with the anticipation that the absence of effective leadership would render the rebel movement directionless in preparation for the impending IPKF assault on the LTTE strongholds. On October 12th, the first operation of the Indian Peacekeeping Force (IPKF) commenced. The Indian forces planned a swift commando raid on Jaffna University with the aim of capturing the key leadership of the LTTE, including local commanders. According to Indian intelligence, these leaders were believed to be present in the building at the time. This strategic move was anticipated to expedite the resolution of the battle for Jaffna city. During the night of October 12, employing MIL-Me-8 helicopters, 40 para-commandos and 36 soldiers from the 13th Battalion of the Sikh Light Infantry executed a landing on the premises of Jaffna University. Unfortunately, the operation took a turn for the worse when rebels intercepted IPKF radio transmissions, leading to an ambush that resulted in heavy casualties for the 6 soldiers upon touchdown. The LTTE rebels, concealed on the rooftops of nearby buildings, effectively pinned down the 6 soldiers who, exposed in the open area, launched a desperate charge towards the rebels' positions. Tragically, all of them were slain in the attempt. In contrast, the para-commandos incurred minimal casualties, sought refuge in nearby buildings, and engaged in a fierce firefight with the rebels for a day and night. Thanks to their superior training, they were eventually rescued by the 54th Division. By October 16th, the conflict escalated as the Indians bolstered their forces with T-72 tanks and BMP-1 fighting vehicles. Despite this defensive measure, the IPKF's advance posed significant challenges. The rebels strategically laid anti-tank mines and positioned snipers equipped with powerful telescopic infrared sights, even taking up positions in coconut palm trees. Indian soldiers also grappled with child rebels, leading to severe traumatic stress. Nevertheless, after 2 weeks of intense fighting, the IPKF successfully seized control of Jaffna and other major cities from the LTTE, an achievement that had evaded the Sri Lankan army for years. The Sri Lankan campaign also witnessed the actions of the elite Marine Commandos of India for the first time, known as Marcos. They successfully conducted raids on rebel radio positions in the coastal areas of Jaffna. Following the loss of Jaffna, the rebel leaders and fighters sought refuge in the jungles of Vivunia in northern province of Sri Lanka. Despite this, the para-commandos and Marcos persisted in their relentless pursuit, actively tracking and engaging the rebels within the jungle terrain. They successfully captured substantial caches of rebel weaponry during these operations. As the conflict persisted, discontent brewed among those stationed in the barracks. The Sri Lankan army expressed dissatisfaction with the presence of the Indian army in the island nation, perceiving a decline in their own authority. There are beliefs that the Sri Lankan army may have supplied weapons to the Tamil Tigers to oppose the Indian forces. Following over 2 years of warfare, the IPKF commenced its withdrawal from Sri Lanka in 1989, following the directives of the newly elected Sri Lankan President Ranasinghe Premadasa. This decision aligned with the election of the VP Singh government in India. The Indian peacekeeping mission in Sri Lanka is often regarded as India's equivalent of the Vietnam War due to the intense urban and jungle warfare involved.